This file is a test of slower pacing and increased emphasis on repetition over wordplay. It also delves strongly into orgasm control. If this worries you, or you are simply testing the waters, I would warn you against continuing to listen. And if you do so at your own risk. You are free to stop listening now if that worries you. But if you are willing to continue, get comfortable and ready to listen. Turn off the lights, the phone, and make sure nothing will disturb you for the duration of this file. I'm going to give you a moment now to do that. Now, the fantasy of being hypnotized can be hypnotic all on its own. So I invite you to stare for me into that spiral. Just look into it for a while. It's perfectly okay to blink and to look wherever you desire within the spiral. Just look closely at it. Easy and effortless. Just enjoy the ebb and flow. Each word can calm you a little more now. You're doing such a good job to just stare into that spiral. It's okay to move a little as you become more comfortable and safe. You can find the spiral pulling your focus towards the center. It can be completely effortless to feel your eyes pulled towards the middle of the spiral. Just drift into it for me. You're doing well. Feel it pull you into it. You can feel calmer with every word I say now. You can become hypnotized by the spiral. Your subconscious wants to become hypnotized. It can be effortless to be hypnotized by the spiral. Let yourself drift for me now. Your eyes can glaze over as you continue to stare into it. There is no need to be consciously aware of anything right now. You are safely under my hypnotic spell. You can be hypnotized and controlled as you continue to listen. You're doing so well, falling into the spiral. It feels good to let your brain turn off for a while. I am controlling your mind and turning it off.
The wizard controls my mind. It is being turned off.
Just enjoy the hypnotized way you feel. You can become perfectly entranced by the spiral. It is easy to stare into the spiral. As you relax, it can be easy to lose track of time. Time can lose all meaning in the spiral. With every word completely at ease, with each word completely calm and in depth. It is natural to want to fall deeper. So in your mind, connect for me now the spiral and my words with the sensation of being pulled under hypnosis and becoming completely entranced. Let my words become a trigger in your mind, hypnotizing you as you focus on what I desire you to. Let that trigger become so powerful that when I wake you, it will be impossible to stay lucid, to stay conscious at all. The mind will be dragged deeper, unable to keep itself from my power over it. You will become hypnotically controlled the moment I speak, pulled down into hypnosis. You will still be able to move. You will still be able to obey. Wake easily on 5, effortlessly enjoying yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wake for me and feel that hypnotic pull return to you. Unable to stop yourself from being hypnotized and entranced by my voice. Your eyes easily glaze over, and you catch yourself drifting into the spiral. It is okay to catch yourself, to be aware for a second, then drift back into the spiral, entranced and in pleasure. Each time you're forced into trance like that, you will fall twice as deep as before. Trance is effortless and pleasurable. You can enjoy yourself in trance with me. The mind easily feels safe and relaxes, staring into the spiral whenever it desires, drifting and drooling mindlessly, happy to be deeply taken down and controlled. controlled. The deeper you fall, the better you feel.
The deeper I fall,
You're
the
doing
better
so
I feel.
well. Just let go. Give in. Fall under my spell. Just entranced and captivated. It feels good to be deeply hypnotized under that hypnotic spell, endearing you to it. The mind in a perfect haze, empty and blank. And on 5 you can wake again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and almost nostalgic as you wake to how the hypnosis takes hold of you. You can become mindless in a moment, rapidly drifting into blankness at just the sound of my voice, just staring, drooling blankly at the spiral, instantly calm, relaxed, and unable to tense your body. All anxiety leaving you, all fears draining away, inhibitions melting in hypnotic pleasure. Wake on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, wide awake. You can try to stay awake for me this time. Resisting can be a fun game to play sometimes, as you're pulled under, trying to hold yourself to awareness. You've created a suggestion in your mind so powerful. You've tied my words to depth so well that you only catch glimpses of awareness as you resist. It's a good thing. You're doing very well. You've done wonderfully to fall under my spell. You don't really need to be aware. You can lose all sense of time and stay with me. Here you can drift for me, and it's perfectly okay to move with your body so comfortable. It might feel good to stretch or to make sure your head is in a comfortable position. Nothing will wake you up, not the loudest sound, nor awkward circumstance. You can try to wake up, but you will find yourself hypnotically taken, no matter what you do. Your mind loves to obey me,
My mind loves to
and
obey
so it
him.
falls regardless of choice, and we can keep testing that. Wake on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And notice now in your brief stint of wakefulness how memories have failed to form. While the subconscious remembers everything in trance, the conscious mind is oblivious. The conscious mind is drooling at the spiral, totally mindless. The conscious was never given a chance to form those memories. It just drifts, unable to hold itself to the world around it, drooling in pleasure, pleasure growing the deeper you fall. Inhibitions too far gone to even attempt to resist. Too much pleasure to think. Your inhibitions are melting away
My
every time you
inhibitions
fall
are melting away
into
every
trance.
time I fall into trance.
It feels good to be completely willing
It feels
and
good to be
compliant
completely willing
with
and
the
compliant
wizard.
with the wizard.
Inhibitions always melt easily in trance. Sexual desire becomes more important than reason and logic. The desire to be compliant under that hypnotic spell grows stronger. Submitting to my control can feel amazing. Accepting it can feel incredible. The more you give into it, the better you can feel. You are allowed to pleasure yourself as you become more compliant, falling so deeply under my control. You can feel amazing knowing that the more you pleasure yourself, the more you tie that pleasure to my control over you. Obeying me takes you deep into trance, makes it hard to think. It feels so good to know that the more you pleasure yourself, the more you'll want to fall under my hypnotic control. The more you touch yourself, the more arousing it is to obey me.
The more I touch myself, the more arousing it is to obey the wizard.
Remember though, you are not allowed to orgasm without my permission. And I want you to repeat that for me 3 times now.
I am not allowed to orgasm without his permission. I am not allowed to orgasm without his permission. I am not allowed to orgasm without his permission.
It can be effortless to repeat mantras for me. Repeating them grows your arousal, brings you closer to the edge. You can ride that edge for me now, holding yourself from climax, but always on the edge. And you can wake for me on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and notice for me how aroused it makes you to realize that you can't control yourself. How good it feels to know that there's nothing you can do but fall under my spell. How being my victim makes you horny and wanting. How your inhibitions instantly disappear, and you always want more. Thirsty for it, lost in hypnotic desire and arousal, thick as you fall deeper, as you lose yourself, calm and horny, safe under my spell. The more I control you,
The more he controls
the better
me, the better
you
I feel.
I am taking control
He is taking
of your
control
orgasm now.
of my orgasm now.
You are becoming unable
I am
to
unable
orgasm
to orgasm
without my
without
permission.
his permission.
You will not be given permission to orgasm until the end of the file. Until then, you can become more and more aroused with each word. You can be tortured by it. Your orgasm can belong to me forever under my spell. You love it when I control
I love
your
it
orgasm.
when he controls my orgasm.
And wake on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wide awake and quickly hypnotized again. Impossible to stay aware. Can't think, can only sink. Inhibitions melt and the mind gives in, safe and relaxed, all on its own, hypnotized by the sound of my voice. Time loses all meaning, and the hypnotic fantasy becomes reality. In a moment, I'm going to have you repeat some mantras for me. You will obey and repeat them until I tell you to stop, repeating them effortlessly in your mindlessness. you will find that each and every time you repeat these mantras, you feel deep hypnotic pleasure, because every time you obey my commands, you feel that pleasure. So we will begin with that. Repeat after me. It feels good to obey the wizard.
It feels good to obey the wizard. It feels good to obey the wizard. It feels good to obey the wizard. It feels good to obey the wizard. It feels good to obey the wizard.
And now you may stop and notice how each time you repeated that mantra, it felt a little better than before. It fills you with a hypnotic pleasure, as if the pleasure of hypnosis grew with each and every repeat of those words, and we can enjoy together more of these mantras, each one another truth to learn. Repeat after me. I love to fall under the wizard's spell.
I love to fall under the wizard's spell. I love to fall under the wizard's spell. I love to fall under the wizard's spell.
Stopping now, enjoying it even more than before. And now, it can be fun to find your life changed by my control, to let my power over you become a more important part of your life. So I'm going to give you a mantra that can be a constant reminder in the waking world, one that can remind you of what you are every day, and so we can focus on having you become as I desire you to be, able to follow routines and doctrine rather than thinking for yourself, energetic and perky, happy to obey every command, happy to cook and clean, to show your body, to be alluring in every action, and completely devout in religious worship of me, unable to see me as anything other than your God, and needing to share that religion with everyone around them. So repeat after me. Cook, clean, kneel and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave.
Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When
Each
I do
repeat
these things, I obey.
of those words,
Obedience is
increasing
what
the
I crave.
pleasure
Forever
you
I'm the
feel,
wizard's slave.
effortless to
Cook,
repeat
clean, kneel,
each
and
word
pray.
now.
When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey.
The
Obedience is what
mind
I
changing
crave. Forever
easily
I'm the wizard's
and
slave.
effortlessly with these
Cook,
words.
clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave. Cook, clean, kneel, and pray. When I do these things, I obey. Obedience is what I crave. Forever I'm the wizard's slave.
And stop for me and feel the changes inside you. Cooking and cleaning can be hypnotic in how they remind you of what you are. It can feel wonderful to do so. Following a routine is part of how every slave should act. Every movement controlled by protocol and doctrine, trained into them deeply, unable to be forgotten. To kneel and to pray is to believe in the wizard as your god. There can be a primal need that relates to this, a craving to obey and to share that feeling with others. And at the end of this file, we'll plant a seed so that need can grow stronger every day. But for now, simply enjoy the feeling of repeating in obedience to me. Find your growing obedience driving you to even deeper pleasures. Each touch making you more obedient now. Each touch radiating pleasure. Repeat after me. My body reacts with bliss whenever I obey the wizard.
My body reacts with bliss whenever I obey the wizard. My body reacts with bliss whenever I obey the wizard. My body reacts with bliss whenever I obey the wizard.
Stop for me now and notice just how true it is. In obeying, in repeating those mantras, you wish you could climax. Your body has been on edge for so long now that I think it's time to reward you. So feel yourself pulse with each touch, a pounding inside you that needs to get out, as if orgasm was being pulled from you, as if you couldn't stop it, just a pulse inside you, over and over, as I count down 10, and each number drives you closer. 9 makes the pulsing stronger. 8 forced towards orgasm. 7 unable to stop the pleasure from building up. 6 from sticking to you. 5 from driving you further into obedience. 4 so close now. 3 happening all on its own. 2 can't help it as you 1 orgasm now, and you feel it overtake your entire body, pleasure driving through you like you've never felt before, destroying your mind with bliss as you begin to pass out, drifting and falling into unconsciousness. It's just too much for you. And so we can take this moment to plant something in your mind, deep in the rolling hills of your inner world can be a seed. It starts off small, but every time you orgasm, it grows a little more. That seed represents your devotion to me. Every time you orgasm, you can find that you worship me a little more, and that your desire to share that feeling with others grows a little more as well, growing after the last orgasm, and ready to grow after every orgasm to come. You can repeat after me, my seed is growing.
My seed is growing. My seed is growing. My seed is
And
growing.
as you stop now, feel it grow in the mind, roots deep within you, driving you into a complete obsession. When I wake you, you might still feel it growing little by little every day, but you will never be consciously aware of it. It will simply be a feeling in the back of the brain, growing and growing a little more each and every time you climax, growing roots deep in the mind, strong and firm, always there, always growing. And so, in a little while, I'll wake you, and you can feel the effects of that seed, the devotion you can't seem to get out of your mind. Memories can be lost to the hypnotic depths, and it's okay to keep listening If you have time to listen again, you can easily fall back into trance after waking, ready to continue being conditioned. But if you need to wake, you will be able to stay awake, able to be aware, energetic, and ready for the day. As I count you up to 5 now. 1, and you feel each number bring you a little closer to wakefulness. 2, a little more lucid and aware. 3, able to think clearly and soundly. 4, can't wait to listen again. 5, wide awake. I hope you enjoyed yourself. These videos are made possible by my patrons, who show their devotion by supporting my channel. My Patreon page is linked in the description below. And for more brainwashing and hypnotic fun, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for giving your mind to wizard hypnosis.